All right, this is a one we haven't done in a while. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the finally second episode of Holy Podcast Batman.
Sorry about the long hiatus.
It only took 6 months to do the second episode.
A lot of planning involved. Yeah.
No, they weren't. We just
We decided this 3-4 days ago to do this, and yeah. And I'm gonna turn this one down. Bring these down a little bit. We don't really need to be as loud, huh?
Yeah, true.
Let's see. So we figured since the first episode we did Batman 89 and Batman the Animated Series, we figured it naturally made sense to continue with chronological order and do Batman Returns. And I guess we could have done New Adventures of Batman, but that kind of, to me, is just Batman the Animated Series. Yeah.
Yeah, that's its own discussion.
And yeah, I don't know. They're just the same to me. So even though they're different which I learned actually watching a different podcast, that it was designed, the New Adventures of Batman, to fit in with Superman, the animated series, be more lighter and more like matching than what Batman, the animated
There were a
series
couple
is.
of character redesigns, weren't they?
Well, Batman got redesigned, then you introduced
Catwoman
Tim
was much
Drake.
younger in that. I think.
Yeah.
Looked like
all
college.
of the female characters in that were like, all the female characters were I don't know how it's called, like slimmer, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I felt like in the original animes,
They looked 30.
first one,
Yeah, they looked like Catwoman looked in her 30s, but in this one she looks
looks
in
20s,
college,
yeah.
like our age.
Because if you think about like all the characters, like both male and female, are like a lot slimmer.
The one thing I remember was that Batman had like these really definitive eyebrows that were like really like scary. They look kind of like wings, but they were also very like distinct, unlike beforehand where you look more normal.
Right.
Plus
You know,
his logo was yellow before, now it's like black. Which,
It's that
it makes
gray.
sense because there's a big bullseye right there.
But,
Yeah, and
it's still cool though.
he changed to all black cape. We were talking about it before,
Mhm.
where he had the blue on the inside originally, and then now has just the black. Closer to what Ben Affleck's costume is.
Yeah, almost like the original one definitely almost looks like blue highlights at times.
Mhm.
But it's because of lighting or artificial lighting or whatever.
Right.
I do like the original art direction more though.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But it made sense why they changed it to fit Superman. Oh, he's got to appeal to Superman, I guess, right?
Well, it's funny though because after the whole Dark Knight movies, everything got darker from the DC standpoint. So like even Superman became more like Batman after
Right.
Chris Nolan did his run.
So I guess everything's got to appeal to Batman,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as it should be.
Batman's
DC's
the poster boy.
Poster boy, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But all right, so I think we'll just kind of go around and talk about. We'll do a spoiler-free review, I guess. It's not like it's a new movie where if you haven't seen it by now,
kinda,
shame on you.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like 23 years old.
92.
Yeah, my
How old
brother's
are we?
23.
I'm
Yep.
21. It's 94, so 20.
23.
Yeah, 23. If you turn
23,
22 this year, yep. Mm-hmm.
Sure, let's assume that. I won't say an answer because I'll probably be like 28, and it's just way off.
60.
Yeah, it's 60 years old. So, Gerald, do you want to start?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
your thoughts on
Thoughts on the movie?
Yeah.
I'm going to go from when I first watched it as a kid and compare it to when I saw it recently, which is about, I want to say, 2 years ago when I watched it end to end.
it. Mm-hmm.
When I remember seeing it as a kid, it was definitely scarier than the first Batman. So Batman 89, you had Joker who, I mean, for what, 5-6-year-old kid watching this, that should have been kind of terrifying, but I was never scared of the Joker.
Right.
Whereas with this one, you have Penguin in there who's really like this very dark, kind of weird presentation because, I mean, it's all Tim Burton, but it was darker. So I remember being a little bit more frightened by this one. But I liked it a little more because I felt there was more action during certain points. So I remember being a little bit more entertained throughout the entire movie
Right.
as a kid. And I remember from watching it a couple years ago that this was a nice continuation of what we had originally in the Batman 89 movie. But it was definitely, you could see where the direction was starting to get skewed a little bit because I guess studio involvement, I feel like, was some of the issues on the back end with this movie. Because the ending of the film just seemed kind of weird because you had this character with like Christopher Walken's character. I remember being a little on the side of just like it didn't make sense for him to be there. Like it made sense if Penguin was like ultimately the villain and we had Catwoman in there, and then this other guy that was his dynamic mixed in there. Just
I think like Christopher Walken was there to like justify a lot of villains' actions. Like they're doing this because of this asshole right here.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. But overall, it's still a classic in my book. I guess if I had to give it a rating overall, it's probably somewhere around a 6.5. So it's not super duper fantastic, but at the end of the day, it's still a fun movie. It's still classic Batman. Keaton is fantastic. He's one of the best people to wear the cape, in a live action film, obviously. Pat, of course, loves him. But yeah, I still enjoy it. Watch it, and I'll laugh at some parts, but that I guess weren't originally intended to be laughed at, but still, I enjoyed it a lot. So,
Pat?
Kind of like what Gerald said when he first watched this kid, it was kind of like the scarier out of the two Tim Burton Batman movies. I also thought it was just weird because it was more violent, more dark, especially with the Penguin, just because it was a gnarly looking character. Like that was the first time I ever saw the Penguin, and he just looked nasty. And also that collided with Tim Burton's just quirky direction, and also with like Danny Elfman's quirky music as well. So it was like one of the oddest Batman movies I've ever seen until Adam West's Batman came into the picture. When I first saw that, I'm like, okay, that took the mantle. It's the weirdest Batman I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the story works is the Penguin trying to frame Batman for trying to turn Gotham against Batman just when he's like just when they have gotten to his side. But the only problems I really have is just Tim Burton's style, what he wants every film of his to look like, kind of gets in the way and very distracting. And it's like notice my direction, so all that stuff. But once again, like I think everyone on the cast nails their performance. Even Christopher Walken, I think, does a fine job with his character as Max Schreck, which I think he is named after the actor who played Nosferatu.
Interesting.
I believe that's the name of the actor. I believe.
I think it's Shrek.
Yeah,
something
Shrek. But yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer freaking nails it as Catwoman. She's Catwoman to me. She always will be. I love her costume. I like how it's like all stitched together. It's like pretty much Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Now when she comes back to life, I think it's great that her costume actually reflects that, and she plays crazy. Like it's over the top, but I think it's at the right tempo of over the top. Keaton's great. Definitely a more edgy Batman from like the '89 version, where he is killing people like goons like left to right. And I sometimes have a problem with that, but
You were right on the Max Shrek.
that was okay, cool. I remember reading that somewhere like on IMDb, and I have a problem with that, like with Batman killing people. Like that's his one rule, that he won't do that. But '89 and Batman Returns did come out, I think, after the height of the popularity with Frank Miller, and so I think they were just trying to reflect that. And also they were trying to bring back the darker look of Batman, even from like the '40s when he actually had a gun,
Right.
in the comics. So it's definitely it's a different interpretation, which I don't mind as much. But yeah, it's great action. It's definitely, you can tell this was since '89 Batman was such a huge success. You can tell where the money was spent, especially in the opening sequence with the Batmobile, where it can prop up and like spin around, and like it definitely shows off that the check was fat for this movie. True. But I give the movie like a 7 out of 10 rating. It's still, I think, like Gerald, I think it's still a classic to me. I still enjoy it very much so. But yeah, for me, this is a case of the studio giving the director like carte blanche, just writing them a blank check and just doing whatever the hell they want, because apparently, like the director was so tamed in the first movie that, let's just let them do whatever they want. But I did think that actually that was actually a bad idea. I think studio involvement should have been actually involved a little bit more, just to rein Tim Burton back for this film.
Okay.
All right, so my turn. It's funny you guys are talking about studio involvement. I believe I could be wrong about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the movie that made the studio get involved in Batman Forever, where they wanted to make that movie more appealing to the general audience. That's why they ditched.
More family friendly.
That's why they ditched Burton and went for Schumacher.
Yep.
My thoughts on the movie: it's okay. My biggest problem with it, I think you may have said it, was that to me it didn't really feel like a Batman movie. It felt like a Tim Burton movie. And I just remember like watching it, like because the earliest memory I have of me watching it was like right when I started staying up really late. I remember it was like on TV at like midnight or whatever. I remember watching the opening credits, like, oh, what is this? Is it Edward Scissorhands? Because, it's Burton music. It's all similar. Yeah. I'm like, oh, wait, no, this is Batman. Huh. All right. Cool. And the other problem I have with it is Penguin as a character. I know he kind of goes, that's not, because the way they portrayed Penguin is more of this kind of, I guess maybe I'm trying to think of a good like Phantom of the Opera kind of like misunderstood monster figure.
Like they actually mentioned like his backstory is like he's like a circus freak.
Yeah, that creeped me out when I was a kid. The one where his family got rid of him and put him in the river. His two parents. That kind of that kind of scared me when I was a kid. But one of my biggest problems with it, besides the tonal issues, for me is the character of Penguin. For me, like Penguin, how I like to see Penguin is as a gangster, corrupt businessman. Like kind of like an evil Bruce Wayne.
He also has class too.
Yeah, he has class.
He looks, funky looking.
And so kind of like his betrayal in Gotham. So that was the big problem I had with it. I know I complain about this a lot. Batman killing. All right. It's him killing in, let's say, Batman v Superman. It can be justified, but here. Didn't he like grin at one of the thugs that blew up at one point?
He like a bomb and grins, like a really creepy grin.
Like what? Really, really, Batman?
Good old Michael Keaton.
Really, Batman?
Yeah, a little sick.
But yeah, and then Michelle Pfeiffer's great as Catwoman. She's probably the best part of it. I would give it probably between like a 6.5.
Okay, well, let me just start off by saying I love me some Catwoman.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah.
And Michelle Pfeiffer does it for me. She does a nice job of like showing you the before Selena Kyle and the after Selena Kyle. Like I never really noticed it before, and then now watching it, you kind of, and I mean it wasn't just her; it was obviously Bert and everything. But if you look before she gets pushed out the window, she's got like the kind of wild hair all up in a bun and kind of glasses and doesn't have her life together or whatever. But she's like colorful, right? She's got a nice like color palette to her face and skin tone and whatever. Mm-hmm. And, the one part she's pouring coffee for Max Schreck, and the way she's doing it, she's like reaching across him and stuff. And I'm watching, I'm like, you could have just went around the other side and like poured it. You would have been out of his way and like everything. But like she's just so awkward and
huge inconvenience to everybody.
It's not even like I feel like she wasn't even doing it on purpose. She just was, And then she'd go home, and you'd be like, "Honey, I'm home." Oh, that's right, I'm not married.
They do it again.
And then once she gets pushed out the window, of course, she does it again, which was a nice callback. But so after she gets pushed out the window, that was
actually a great fall. Like she's falling, then when she hits the awning, it gets really tied up. Like it's feel it.
You feel the impact.
Yeah,
I do
totally.
remember that. Yeah,
which isn't her origin story, but for this movie it works. Her origin story is she's just a burglar, cat burglar, whatever, pun intended.
Gave some motivation for her moving through the movie, which I thought was cool.
Right, and it's like okay, she has a reason to hate Max Schreck other than just he's a douchey boss, whatever. And so the cats come in like lick her and start eating her and whatever. But then when you see her next, she's like very put together, I mean, granted she's like very pale, but she's like still very kind of put together, very classy.
I think it's also like just sexual confidence when she's like really conservative and kind of huddled, but when she comes back and like I think she crashes that meeting between Max Schreck and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
She comes in, she's more sexually confident. She's like got like her blouse kind of open a bit, her hair is done in a sexy way. So
right, because beforehand, it was a lot of layers, big baggy kind of clothes.
Bruce Wayne's like tongue is like hanging out because like he's like totally entranced by her.
Well, I mean, and it's more of a nod to obviously what's to come as well as the comics because they're obviously a very on again off again relationship.
Bruce was just like Vicky who?
Yeah, really. Which I had never noticed that he mentions Vicky Vale previously. And then he talking about it on the couch, my ex-girlfriend Vicky. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, okay, they actually mentioned it in Bridge those movies. Because I know their whole thing was they didn't want it to be a sequel to the first one. They didn't want it to be like, oh, let's just pick it up right where the first one left off.
Yeah.
They wanted it to be like you could watch the second one without having seen the first one, which I think is accomplished other than the Vicky Vale part.
Actually, you can do that, yeah.
Just have a separate story. And
just not getting his origin story, which I think it still works.
It's the only one of the like 90s Batman movies that you don't get any reference to his parents' death.
Oh, yeah, true.
And they said, I was like reading up stuff on it, and they said that they took up 50% of Warner Brothers' backlot with Gotham sets. So, nice. But they were able to like move them and stuff. So like Michelle Pfeiffer would often get lost because they were like moving the sets and like would change the walls. And stuff.
I recommend getting the Blu-ray or like the Steelbook Blu-ray copy of Batman '89 and Batman Returns, because there's like a 3-part documentary of just how the '89 Batman was conceived, and also Batman Returns, and they talk about how Michelle Pfeiffer talks about how she would get lost because they could actually switch the sets around.
Yeah, I've considered doing that because I have, just like I told you, Patrick, I have like the 4-pack. It was like $5 where you get all 4 of them, whatever. But it's on 2 discs, so you got to like flip it over. You want this one, whatever. But anyway, so for the movie's sake, loved Catwoman, probably my favorite part of the movie. Penguin, I like Danny DeVito a lot, not just because we share a first name. I mean, I love him more so now because of Sonny, but that's besides the point. I thought he did a nice Penguin. Obviously, like Nate said, he's not that gangster mafia boss that we're used to, like we saw in Arkham games. I thought he was awesome in the Arkham games.
You know what, though? I'm going to make a comparison with this Penguin and the Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Danny DeVito and Jesse Eisenberg both did good jobs on their characters for what they were what the overall movie was trying to do with the characters. But it's just their characters that were like badly written, totally off or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it works for Burton's world, having him be like this disfigured character with the nose, which the makeup and prosthetics were incredible. Yeah, with the flippers. And
I didn't know what
like
Danny DeVito looked like for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't either. Movie, and it's funny now when I watched it the other day, I was like, I can see Danny DeVito. Cause now I know what he looks like.
You've seen him in other stuff.
Short he really is.
He's 5 foot.
Than you.
Yeah, he's
5. What's that? He's 5 foot. I got almost a foot on him. Almost. That's stretching it, but almost. 8 inches on him. In height. And yeah, I'll leave that there. So yeah, I thought for the movie's sake, he was good. Now you said, Gerald, that you were more frightened from this movie, and I mentioned 6 months ago when we did the first episode that I was more frightened of that one.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, the Joker was just more terrifying to me than Penguin. I don't know why. Maybe I just related to Penguin or something.
Thought Nicholson's was actually was really funny, just dark humor and all.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing with where he's meeting with the mom and he fries that one guy, and that whole speech that he's giving to the dead guy when he's like, it was just hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was entertained by the Joker more so than he's kind of scary, but not really scary. What scared me about the Penguin, which I honestly thought was, despite being different from how he's presented in comics and most of the other shows, I like this one because even as a kid, I remember feeling sorry for him. I liked the way they presented him and everything, but I still I didn't like the fact that the black tongue and the flippers and just the way he looked, everything about him just creeped
when he
me the
eats
heck
that
out.
fish.
I feel if you were near him and you were to start walking to him,
it bothered me. The
I
Joker, I didn't have a problem with clowns, so the Joker was fine. He looked like a weird clown that just killed people.
I think it was a general consensus when it first came out that parents were warned that this was a lot darker.
I think it was
PG-13.
I think it was PG-13.
Well, they're both PG-13.
Yeah.
But I just remember with him kidnapping the kids at the end, killing all the firstborns. It was what the fuck? This is Grimm Brothers shit right here.
Well, my parents really didn't care about that. I don't want to say they didn't care. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But I remember watching all 4 of those movies growing up. Not even them not allowing us to watch them. Like,
Right.
For some reason, we weren't allowed to watch like Power Rangers or Pokemon because they were deemed too violent. But we could watch all the Batman movies for some weird reason. And you know, like to this day, I don't really argue against it because I've seen them all at this point. But like that was one of those things where I never, you know, it being dark or scary just never really like crossed my mind, except for the Danny DeVito one. Like all the other follow-ups, like the Schumacher ones weren't that scary. The first one wasn't that scary, but for some reason the Penguin freaked me out the most. That's the one I watched the least many amount of times.
Yeah, and then Walken, he's just so funny now to watch. So any movie I see him in, he's just like, ha, it's Christopher Walken. Wow, you know, he's just funny. But Keaton does a great job. He was my not my favorite, but one of probably my live action favorite for a long time. Now I think I honestly can say it's Ben Affleck. I really did enjoy that.
I would agree.
I think mine's still Kristen Bale overall. Maybe not so much the acting, but at least still character overall and like Raritan and
yeah. I mean, I still like Christian Bale. I think he did a really awesome job. And in 6 months when we review, or actually it would be, let's see, like 3 years when we review Batman Begins. You know, we'll talk more about that. But no, but so yeah, I thought overall movie was cool. Obviously, a lot darker, more freedom to Tim Burton. And you saw that, I mean, with the abandoned zoo in the beginning and just like that weird gothic-y kind of toys.
Yeah, how
and
the camera almost like is like almost attached to like a freaking bird and just like dives.
Yeah,
and
just
swoops.
flying through the stuff.
I thought that was a cool opening.
Yeah. And I think Tim Burton is very good at showing his vision. He's sticking to his vision.
Yeah, very distinct style.
But I think he's also, and this is for any movie, not just for the Batman movies, for any of his movies for the most part, he's very much like Alejandro Inarritu. Yeah, I was going to say Gonzalez Inarritu. But where they're kind of like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Where I can like look.
Aren't I artistic?
Yeah, aren't my things, my thoughts provoking?
Feeling like they have too much to prove when in reality, no, we got it. We like your stuff. Just give us something. Don't
right.
Like
whereas, like, let me think of another director that's a little less showy.
I think Spielberg's a little less showy.
Nah,
he's got some similar themes though, where it's kind of like this is Spielberg.
Well, he's a different kind of showy. He's more like Oscar Beatty showy in a way.
I'm trying to think of like
Nolan, maybe.
Yeah, but you know it's a Nolan movie.
Yeah, Nolan has a very distinct style as well.
I had someone.
No.
Coppola's like
someone
drama.
that you almost forget directs a movie.
You're like, oh yeah, that's a this guy movie or this girl movie.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's not too often that it's like, oh, it's this girl movie.
Maybe any of the like actor director people.
Yeah, I mean,
Ben Affleck because he doesn't have.
He's one of those guys who doesn't have a very.
Yeah. I mean, we could sit here all day and trying to think of it, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely directors that don't worry about their style and have like no, you know, you couldn't tell that this person directed the same thing.
Basically, anybody that we haven't named yet.
Yeah, probably. We probably named other people that.
Cameron.
He's. Yeah, honestly,
maybe.
Well, because like Snyder, he's definitely got a style.
Well,
you know?
Ben Affleck's just getting started as a director.
That's what I mean.
He only has like 2 movies. 3 movies under his belt.
Eastwood.
Well, that's why he's a good pick because he doesn't have like a noticeable style. That, like,
yeah,
okay, that's obviously a Ben Affleck movie.
Gerald said Clint Eastwood. I thought about that. He might be a good choice. I mean,
because
he's got a little bit of like
his more
style.
recent ones have more of
a
like
consistent
the dry or like washed out.
Like,
when you look at his earlier stuff, it's very different each one.
Yeah. So again, we could have this.
There's probably some famous director we're not thinking of right now.
Yeah, it'll come to us later that we're like, shit, it was this person.
We know if we learned more in our directing class. Was that shade? I'm sorry.
I'll leave that one there. So since we all gave the ratings, I'm gonna give it a 7. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Although I wasn't crazy about the ending. I thought the ending was a little rushed.
You mean, like
and
the last second or like the kind of the final fight.
Just the last
sequence,
few minutes,
the
last 15 minutes of the movie. I just thought it was very rushed along and very weird, especially for Batman to just like tear his mask off. Which, by the way, can't you just take the cowl like straight off, like up? And he
probably thought that was like, oh shit. I gotta own it.
Yeah, just go with it. But like you could tell there was the one shot he doesn't have the black makeup on.
Yeah,
next shot
like,
it's not there at all.
Yep.
And then he's just like, okay, so the mask's coming off, you know.
It's just like the magic hand in the Spider-Man.
The magic what?
Hand in the Spider-Man.
What was the magic hand?
Remember GT showed us like a clip from Spider-Man at the very end where he and Mary Jane are like confessing their love or whatever, and her hand just magically appears in one shot. It's gone in the other.
Oh yeah.
My favorite continuity era in like any movie though is from Iron Man 3, where the Scar clearly switches sides. And
I've
it's
seen
hilarious.
I'm pretty sure
it's like it clearly switches sides.
I'm pretty sure in the first Hellboy movie, his fucking hand switches sides in one hand, like the club hand.
Yeah, like
I'm pretty
it
sure
wouldn't surprise me.
in the subway scene, there's a shot or like two shots where his hand, I think it's normally on the left hand, say it's on the right side.
Yeah.
So it's like, why did you even make a right-handed club like hand? That shouldn't even be a thing. It should always have been the left. Whatever. So it switches, and then like the rest of the movie, it's back to like the left hand or whatever it was. But I was like, are you kidding? Like, why
Those
does
little
that?
things are the great.
Especially, and my mom and I say it all the time that we don't watch movies the same. Me, because we're film majors, you guys obviously can attest. Her just from me telling her things. So like, she'll be like, oh, I noticed this, this error and blah blah blah, this mistake. So, but we keep digressing from Batman, but that's okay. So I'll give it a 7. Strongest part was the actors. The story was probably the middle weakest, and I think that just the visual style was probably the weakest.
I think just direction was.
Yeah, I wasn't totally like upset the fact that he kills, just because I don't mind that he kills.
Yeah, I
Because
never did.
he's a vigilante. He's a criminal. I mean, he's just.
He's
kind of
been a criminal.
Batman killing people never bothered me.
criminal, Clark. What was I gonna say? He's like Robin Hood. Take from the rich, give to the poor. He's still stealing, but he's doing it for the good cause. He's giving it to poor people. So
I'm pretty sure that's Green Arrow stick.
yeah, so it's like you're still killing
That's the
people.
one
You're still
scene.
I mean, vigilantism is a crime.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't kill a single person, if he just laid them down gently, on the ground, that's still a crime. So he's a criminal either way.
The fact he's going around beating up people, that's all assault cases now, technically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's committing crime.
One thing I will have to say about him killing, you know how lame the Batman series would be if he actually killed. I saw this like little comic in like College Humor, and they're like, oh, well, why do you have a problem? Because it would be totally lame. Oh, Joker, bam, nope, he's gone. Penguin, nope, he's gone. Two-Face, nope, he's gone.
Yeah,
Ra's al
all the
Ghul,
rogues would be
who? They're gone. Oh, Crime in Gotham? Psh, nah.
Series over.
No.
Well, yeah, he'd be basically the Red Hood, which
Yeah,
is
sure.
who goes.
Yeah.
He uses.
And it'll be just like Superman in that one little short cartoon YouTube clip of The Dark Knight meets Superman. Yeah, I just stopped crime like all of it.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it makes it more interesting when he doesn't kill. I mean, there's ways to kill obviously without weapons, and he's done that and stuff. But like I was telling Patrick today, I got Batman Chronicles Volume 1, which is basically from like his first comic ever till like say like 1945 or whatever.
Wait,
okay.
is that the one from the New York trip that I found for you?
Yeah.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yes, thank you, Nate. So I'm finally like getting around to reading it, and the first comic. Well, granted, it's only like a 3-page little thing, and he solves it in like 2 panels. But he somebody's like falling into this acid pit, and the guy's like, "Oh my God, he's falling," and he's just like, "Yeah, it's okay. He deserves it." And I was like, "What, Batman?"
That's early Batman for you.
Yeah.
When you think about Batman, though, he has such a strong moral code that most of the time he's not gonna like kill somebody. He's gonna beat him up, or he's gonna leave them there to like with their broken arm or whatever. But he's not gonna kill
Well,
somebody.
But there's a bigger picture over
Right.
the horizon, and there's all these goons in the way. Like he's got to do what he's got to do.
But then he has the moments where he does kill, it just makes him a more dynamic character because it's like, but you let this person die though, or you kill this person, but you didn't do it to this other guy.
right.
But like,
I
there's
killed this
always
one
like
person
some
and
other.
saved 3 people or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. There's usually some other overarching reason why he allowed that person to die or whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was saying to Patrick with the chemical guy death. He's like, he didn't kill him, he just didn't stop him from dying.
And he does that in Batman Begins with Ra's al Ghul or whatever. He's
yeah.
like, I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either. And
Right.
Like next little cool action.
So yeah, he kills. I don't where people don't realize he does kill people,
Right.
or he just lets them die. Like he doesn't save everybody.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And everyone's like, but Batman shouldn't kill. He never kills him, but he does. Watch the movies.
He may not do it like his hand. May
He does.
not
I
do
don't
the
always
final
kill,
blow.
but when I do,
And what
I let them
annoys
die.
me, especially like in recent weeks or whatever, I guess with everything around Batman v Superman,
Mm-hmm.
and like more people are flipping out because Batman killed 20 people in this movie than when they did when Superman snapped Zod's neck. And he's like the main guy that's not supposed to kill anyone because he's the Boy Scout. I didn't mind either.
I didn't mind that. I hate is that the next scene after that is like doesn't even address it. Like it's him stopping a drone and the soldier is calling him hot. Like that's it. Like they don't really pick up on that.
Yeah.
Well,
pissed me off.
Or the destruction.
My problem with the Zod killing scene is that he killed it to save the family, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Could have just moved Zod.
Or
There's
told them
million
to move.
scenes they could have done.
Yeah, he
why
could have
push
just
Zod around? Like why
He-
fly him up into space or fly him somewhere else when you know you're gonna have to keep fighting this guy anyway? And if you fly away, you give him more of a chance to like break
And why
out.
didn't
You
like,
have
the
him in the
family
headlock.
run?
Yeah, they
They
should've
weren't
just
like
moved.
blocked or anything.
Fight over.
That's true. Actually.
I mean,
That's what I was
I don't
gonna
care
say.
if Superman killed.
This
I
has
actually
turned
liked it
into
when
a fight
Superman
about
goes over the edge and
Superman.
becomes the villain,
Right.
and then Batman has to like put him back in his place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so that's what I think of the movie. What else? Let's see.
All right.
Oh,
Let's
real
write
quick.
this out,
So
David.
Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Even
Yeah.
though I love her as Catwoman, I'm not a fan of the suit.
Not a
Never
fan of
was.
suit.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
it was
I'm like
kind of like sewed together.
not my favorite
Yeah.
Catwoman suit, but
Yeah.
What's your favorite cat? What's your favorite Catwoman suit?
gee, I don't know. Now you put me on the spot. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I like the gray one from the animated series. That's my
Yeah.
favorite
That one's pretty cool.
I like the one from the Arkham games.
Nice, Nate.
What is that one? Is it like?
It's very revealing.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they make
I know
her.
that, I know that one.
They make her quite like bodacious.
I know. Have you seen that DC showcase of Catwoman? Like those animated shorts.
one. Sure, she's a
I've
stripper.
seen the Green Arrow
And
one.
Catwoman, she goes to a fucking strip club.
Yeah, she becomes a stripper.
I know it's like
Oh,
such.
really?
It's like
Yep.
indulgent.
It came along the year one release because it's
Oh,
that
man.
same animated style.
I
Yeah.
remember
Okay.
year
It's
one.
quite a bit of nice animation there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what my favorite one is. I don't totally hate it,
I
but
just thought it really reflected her character, how she was unhinged and like just.
Putting herself back together, I guess.
But
Yeah, her
since she
pieces
was,
back
yeah,
together.
like put herself together. So she just did that with the costume, and it just looked really crappy and like homemade, and how, she's crazy, but it wouldn't make sense if her costume would be very slick and well tailored. No, it looked like she'd do it in one night.
yeah, I mean, I think it works for the movie. I think it's a fitting costume and everything like that. It's just not totally her. I don't know.
I honestly have no. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
I know. I was telling, I think Patrick, that like, the posters for Batman Returns. They would do like character posters, and then of course the main poster, which had the three like of them stacked on top of each other, kind of.
Yeah.
So when they did the Catwoman character poster, they would put it at like bus stops, and they'd be these huge like posters and stuff, and people would steal them. Mostly men, probably, would steal it, like smash the
Adolescent
thing.
teen or teenagers.
I guess they would they would steal it. So it got to the point like Warner Brothers had to keep sending them out, and finally they would have like cops like stand by like these bus stops, wasting our tax dollars to guard these stupid posters and stuff. So now they're like real rare to find.
Like,
and-
had a mixed reaction at the end of it. So
But
Right.
you know what?
Worth it.
That never happens anymore, especially with the suicide posters.
Yeah, we never
Never.
take them
No,
from
dude.
polls and
Never.
stuff.
We
did that. All three of us, not Gerald.
Yeah, I wasn't there for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. In South by Southwest, they had a bunch of Suicide Squad stuff, and they had like full-size posters that were just sitting on these poles covering other people's posters. So we did these other people a service by taking it off so it wasn't
Public-
blocking their
public
poster,
service.
somewhere else.
and we would just promote it on our wall in our room. That's all.
That's totally acceptable.
And-
We're helping you, Warner Brothers.
Because they would have small ones, like the 11 by 17s. These were like 24 by 36 size, huge, like actual size posters, nice ones, and they're just gonna sit outside and get ruined. So let me take it inside and like keep it nice.
Preserve it, yeah.
Like I got you, Warner Brothers. Let's talk about Warner Brothers for a second, because they obviously pushed up Wonder Woman a few weeks.
Yep.
They
Oh, okay.
added two.
Two more.
June
Mhm.
2nd.
They added two
Okay.
movies that they didn't reveal the title for, and then a lot of people are thinking that they're going to have to reshuffle / cancel or shelve a few movies now because of the mixed receiving of Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, 'cause,
What
like,
do you
it's
guys
going-
think?
It's gone down like 80% in the last week or something.
Yeah.
Like that, so-
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
I mean-
kind
I
of
don't think
upsetting,
they're
yeah.
really counting
But
on
it still
that.
made $700 million,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
mind blowing.
Which
It's
is
still good.
still a record.
I mean, but at
It's
the same
on.
time, like, you say that, come on, Suicide Squad. We counted on
it's
you.
really going to come down to the squad, because if Suicide Squad for some reason doesn't work, Warner Brothers, I think, is going to it's ruined.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
they'd have to start over again.
I think, honestly, let's just assume Suicide Squad fails.
Okay.
But it makes decent money, right?
Right.
I think they'll be able to. They're going to do the Wonder Woman movie since it's already made,
Right.
and they're going to finish up the two Justice League movies.
Right.
I think that those if
True, I see
they're
what
continued
you're saying.
down with this negative review reception, those three movies are safe.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Yeah, they'll
Then reboot it.
Collaborate.
they'll cap off the. Here's the problem with that though. It makes
This will be
sense.
small.
We'll finally get Justice League movies, and we will cap off the era of the Man of Steel we got from Henry Cavill and all of that, and then whatever they do afterwards is more than likely going to be a reboot of some sort, which I'm really not looking forward to. Hence why I'm really upset with
Especially
everyone
like
who's talking about not going to
And
see
you know
Batman
who they're
v
probably
Superman.
going to reboot after this? Batman again.
Exactly, because they know they have to. That's their shoe-in.
Yeah,
you
just
know?
after Ben Affleck, and even Gal Gadot is one who killed it.
Exactly.
Fuck.
But it's like they're gonna have to recast everything because they don't want to have anything that points back to what happened recently. So,
But like,
yeah.
how many times can we hit the reset? I can't speak today. Reset button
As long as
on
they-
our minds,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Right,
If it doesn't
Because
make money, they're
we
gonna
just
keep
had to
doing it.
shake off Christian Bale's Batman, and now we're got to be like, oh, Ben Affleck's Batman.
I mean,
okay,
they can
you
still
know?
use Ben Affleck, Batman. As a
Unless they
reboot.
did
That's
it
what
as,
they did
like-
kind of with Deadpool in a way.
Isn't
no
yeah?
way.
Unless they kind of
True.
like jump it, like, oh, we're in Earth 2 now. We're just gonna start over from here. or
The only thing I
something.
want to say, if they're going to reboot Batman, make it R.
Or make him younger.
That's my other
Or-
reason why I
or-
say you would reboot
You know what?
and recast
You know
everything
what?
to make him younger.
Do a Batman Beyond movie.
Heck no,
Mm-hmm.
no. I like Batman Beyond a little bit more than I did growing up. But growing up, I wasn't a fan of Batman Beyond. My
Really?
brother loved it for some reason.
I loved it.
I did
growing
not
up.
like Batman
I
Beyond
watched
growing
that
up.
before I watched the animated series.
I watched.
I watched Batman Beyond a little bit. I was hit or miss
I
with
love
it.
Batman
The
Beyond.
Keaton movies and Bat Beyond is what got me into Batman.
Really?
Yeah, those
I mean,
3. Well, I mean, technically 4, but
I mean, as a kid, I liked Terry McGinnis's Batman more, just because he was a teenager and he's a kid, so I could kind of relate to him.
Sure.
Kind of like how I liked Robin as a kid more.
Yeah, that's how.
Now-
Which is what the point of Robin was.
Yeah. So, but I like Batman Beyond movie with Clint Eastwood as old man Bruce Wayne.
If
Just
he's still
saying.
alive,
Just
the
saying.
cat's
There's
85
something
years
to like-
old.
Yeah, I don't know. He's
Hey, he's like Batman. He's too stubborn to
Harrison
die.
Ford, yeah.
He's too stubborn to die.
Harrison Ford's not. Harrison
Ford's going to be too busy doing Indiana Jones
freaking
until he's
Indiana
90.
Jones.
They better
Like
like
6.
body scan him or something like that, so that way, if in
Just
case he
CGI.
like, yeah, he like the bed like croaks or something during the middle of the movie, they have like
Something to
a
work
scan
with.
of him that they can
Yeah,
like
Weta
finish.
Digital.
Like
is pretty
they'll
good
get
work.
Andy Serkis to mocap the rest of the movie.
Weta does great work, so you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Which, all right, we're gonna jump to Indiana Jones for a second. Why?
Bruh, I don't know.
Why?
Money.
Why was
I don't
4? Well,
I
yeah,
was
exactly.
totally okay with them redoing, like bringing in a
reboot.
new
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Chris
The
Pratt.
people there, Chris Pratt,
Or just reboot
Bradley
the
Cooper,
Indiana Jones
anybody.
Chronicles, the young
I was
Honestly,
fine
reboot
with
those into a movie.
that. Yeah.
I could see he wouldn't be as gruff as Harrison Ford, but he would be a good. I think
More
that's what.
younger, naive kind of.
Yeah,
He
he
can
would-
still play that
Cocksure.
fun adventure
Yeah,
type, which
and
was.
you know what?
Yeah.
Just because he's different doesn't mean it's bad.
Which I kind of thought of. Would it be interesting to bring Sean Patrick Flannery back, who played him in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
Yeah,
Could be
why
kind
not?
of
He's still
interesting.
young
Yeah,
enough
do
to
that.
like
I
pull
would
it off.
I would love to see an adventure with like him meeting Marion, which apparently they kind of
I mean, he's in his 40s now, so
yeah. So like a young like
Still, if
do like an
you're-
origin of him meeting Marion, and then go on like a freaking adventure. I mean,
Marion's great. I would have been fine if she was in every movie with him. Like they
Yeah,
both
exactly.
went on.
I don't know why they. Well, I do remember. I don't know if you.
They wanted it to
remember
be
this
the
when-
Bond.
Yeah, it was like.
So they always had
indie
these
girl,
yeah,
indie
exactly.
girl, exactly.
Yeah, but everyone loved Marion. Marion was just the greatest.
And that's why they brought her back.
Unlike with the Bond movies, there's no like there are Bond girls that everyone likes, but like there's no one Bond girl that everyone wished was in all 25 movies.
Right.
You know.
And my least favorite is Lily Scott. Is that her
Willie
name?
Scott.
Willie Scott. Yeah. See, I don't even remember.
Oh yeah, I couldn't stand
For
her.
Bond
Dear
girls?
Lord.
Also known as Mrs. Spielberg.
Yeah.
Oh, and
She would
Which one was
go
it
on to
again?
marry her.
That's Temple
Temple
of
of Doom.
Oh,
Temple of Doom,
oh,
yeah.
you mean Spielberg's
She
wife?
was
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
funny to watch.
Sorry,
but,
Steven.
Like, she wasn't that great. Yeah. Sorry, Steve.
But she was the worst one. Elsa was is good
Fine.
enough. Yeah, but Marion was just fun, and she
Except
held her own.
I do
well.
have to say, because her name's Elsa, she couldn't let it go. Sorry, it was too easy. I know.
Oh, Marion.
No, Elsa.
Oh, Elsa.
She couldn't let the Holy Grail go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I guess she couldn't come back.
Oh no, guys!
There goes light
Damn it.
bulb.
Oh, Elsa.
Yeah,
Now.
No,
All right, wow.
Oh, God.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was like, what do you... I don't understand.
2013.
Yeah. But yeah, she couldn't come back because she's dead.
Yeah, she's
And
dead.
Willie rode off on an elephant. So,
Yeah, that is her last shot. Yeah.
well, that was a prequel, Temple of Doom.
Yeah, it was.
I forget
Temple
that.
of Doom.
So it does make sense. It was before. Technically, it was after Marion because apparently it met Marion like so many years before, and then like
It was kind of
Well,
like
she
he
was
met
a
Marion,
child and-
then he went to
yeah.
Temple of Doom, and then
he's
he
like,
went
oh
on
yeah,
Raiders.
Marion, I'm back. I need help, kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if it's a prequel though, like, I don't know, there should have been more of a resolve of like what happens to Short Round, what happens to Willie,
Exactly. Yeah.
especially Short Round, because then it's
Short
supposed to
Round,
be a
that was
prequel.
a
and
cool
then it's
character that
poof.
I would have liked to seen.
He's
know,
gone,
back
yeah.
then. But yeah.
He was
You
okay.
know.
It's just he kept on talking.
Mhm.
So
Dr. John, Dr. John.
It's
Yeah.
really
Dr.
all.
John.
She
I
just had a
swear
funny
he
line.
shouts. I think pretty much 99% of his lines.
Hey, wasn't that the same actor from Goonies too?
It
was,
is, yeah.
I prefer him as Data as Shorty.
Look at us digressing here.
I was say yeah. We were
That's
talking
okay.
about Batman. Yeah.
That's
40
all right.
minutes then.
41 minutes. I think we're going to call it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11:59. Just kidding. That was from Arrow. I'm not going to spoil it, though. I won't say anymore.
I think I'm 2 weeks behind Arrow now.
All right, yeah. Well, Patrick and I won't say anymore. When I said to Gerald, it's like, did you watch Arrow? And he goes, no. And I go, okay. Whew. And I wipe my eyes and stuff. No, but it was a good one. That's all I'll say.
I didn't cry.
Yeah. Well, Patrick's a man. He's still tough.
You know what? I don't believe that. I think Patrick.
I had to get him a
cried.
tissue. I'm just kidding. None of us cried, but it was sad.
Oh, dang.
We have our theories and things like that. In due time, we'll talk about it maybe.
Well, now I kind of know what's going to happen. Just because.
I don't know.
Good news is Blacklist comes back tomorrow after a month-long break.
I'm
Excited about
I'm
that.
waiting. Oh, well, wait. Don't without spoiling it. Did you hear that there's a spin-off coming with Tom Keane?
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Don't say anything because I haven't watched any of season 3
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, I won't say anything more.
But yes or
Interesting.
no, are you cool with that?
Hmm.
I'm gonna say no. Just
We'll
from what I
talk
know.
after the episode tomorrow because the episode tomorrow is kind of like this Kill Bill thing going on.
Oh,
So
okay.
you know,
Is it still
I'll say no more.
interesting?
It's still very interesting. It did drag. I will be honest. It's gonna drag at some point when you get to season 3. After episode 6 or 7, it drags for a really long time, and then tomorrow's supposed to be the pick back up.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Honestly, I'm behind on all my shows right now, except
Still
for
behind on
Arrow.
Daredevil, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
Daredevil-
Pat,
well,
you're still
the
behind
ones
on
that are like
Daredevil.
airing on TV,
Man,
not
yeah.
Netflix, not Amazon, Hulu or whatever.
Yeah.
The ones that the Arrowverse is the only show this semester shows that I've been able to keep up with.
All right.
I'm still behind on Walking Dead. Honestly, I'm debating whether to watch it because it's Walking Dead.
I just want to watch it because I want to see what the big deal with the finale was.
Well, it's
But now I
Negan.
gotta watch. Yeah, I know it was Negan, but like,
Ooh,
who dies?
I got a
and
little
blah, blah,
fun fan theory for you. Could never happen, but here we go. So Negan, right?
blah. Okay,
is
now
played by-
granted, I didn't
Is this
see any
spoilers?
of season 6.
Right.
Okay.
So this has nothing to do with spoilers from the episode.
Okay.
So Negan, or wherever he is played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Correct.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays
Thomas Wayne.
Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
He also plays
'Cause
the father
In
of
Supernatural.
Sam and Dean Winchester.
Right.
So what if Negan is a different name for Thomas? Okay, and Thomas Wayne is actually the father of Sam, Dean, and Bruce, making them brothers. And then we got like a
Those are
little.
like so many crossovers. Like,
Yeah, that'd
That,
be-
but think about it. A Supernatural and Batman crossover would actually be kind of cool.
It'd be
I'm not gonna
interesting.
lie.
Well, I think the reason they use Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the possibility of doing a Flashpoint paradox. You need someone that could carry a Thomas Wayne Batman.
I
which-
can
Exactly,
see
yeah.
him
Because
as
he played the
Thomas
comedian
Wayne's,
and everything.
Thomas Wayne's Batman.
And I guess he's in kind of good shape, so he
Good
could
enough.
do that.
Decent.
Yeah.
He was the comedian.
Yep.
I mean, this was
But he's supposed to have like kind
7
of
years
like a
ago.
potbelly in that universe.
Yeah. And then they have Laura Cohen as Martha Wayne. Martha.
Martha, why is that her name? Why is that her name?
So I think.
Where's the trigger?
So I think it's gearing up for it because I think she would be be able to carry the fact that she's Joker.
One of the Flash movies, I'm guessing.
I'm thinking it's probably gonna be the Flash movie. Yeah.
Yeah, or at least a Justice League movie.
Well,
or
probably
something
not
like
the
that,
first Flash movie, but
No, I
could be
mean,
probably the second Flash.
I feel like that the Flashpoint paradox could justify the Justice League's Part 1 and 2.
well, Flash is after Justice League though. That's the thing. It's like
Oh, yeah,
after
that's right.
part 1 or part 2.
I think it's between Part 1 and Part 2. You have to double check. I think it's like Justice League 1 is 17,
okay.
Flash is 18, and then Part 2 is 19. But don't quote me on that. Which is, if that's the case, I don't know how they're going to make this work. I don't know what DC's planning. I don't know what they're doing.
I think they're really changing stuff up after what's happened.
Because it's weird to do the team-up movie after 3 movies, I guess 4, I guess, because Suicide Squad, but let's not count that, right? That's its own kind of thing.
Well, they're saying it is supposed to like lead to it a little bit, but not
Okay.
as much.
So assuming, let's just say it's Wonder Woman and Batman, Superman, and Man of Steel. Those are the 3 movies. I'll do it this way, so it's not doing this. 3 movies that are supposed to lead us into Justice League, right? We barely introduced Flash. You really didn't even introduce Aquaman or Cyborg. You saw him as a cameo. Most people didn't even know that was Cyborg. And Aquaman was just like, ooh, and poking the camera with his trident.
Doing like a very directionless like kind of scene.
I'm
Yeah,
not
like-
touching
Like,
you.
what am I doing?
I'm
Yeah.
not touching
So
you.
for me to now be like, okay, bam, Justice League starts, and it's like, here's the team, but
You
we
care
don't.
for them? No?
Even if I know their origins, which I know all of their origins, I don't. How am I supposed to follow them or get behind them?
I
At
mean,
least you can
that
follow the
being
Trinity, I
said,
don't know.
there's been ensemble movies before where they set up all the characters in one movie.
Right, but like, obviously, it's supposed to be like Seven Samurai, cool, right? Or Magnificent Seven, assemble the team, fine. But these are such different characters, right? Because these are our titans, these are our gods, in a nutshell, our mythos. So it's not just like, let's just go get a good shooter, let's go get a good, tracker or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's, let's get fucking Flash and Aquaman and Cyborg and like all this stuff. And it's like characters that we're seeing live action for the first time after seeing them in the comics for so long.
We already can't relate to them, so how are we supposed to care?
And now we're supposed to get behind them as a team when we don't have these origins or like their backstory to be like, this is why he works as Cyborg, this is why he works as Aquaman and Flash. All we can get behind is the Trinity for the most part, which I guess is good. I mean, that's half the team for the most part right there. But
the base of the team, anyways.
And those are the 3 big ones. But I don't know. I think that they should have waited on Justice League a little more. I think they should have at least the main 6 established them. So do Aquaman, do Flash, do Cyborg, their movies first. Yeah, I don't think it was doing it the Marvel way because Marvel doesn't doing
I know, but like just
build up to ensemble
they're the
pieces.
franchise that kind of did that very well with
People are gonna, even if they did the Justice League as the first movie before they did Man of Steel and then did all the standalone movies, people are still gonna compare it to Marvel. There's no question.
There's no escape from that.
Right.
I mean,
So
it's
no
hard to get
escape
mad at
from
that
that.
anymore. It's just gonna happen.
Exactly. So for them to like do this weird pattern in their movie lineup just to say, well, we're trying not to be Marvel. You're not Marvel because your characters are so different and your tone is so different that we know you're not Marvel. Obviously, the haters that are like Marvel minded and stuff like that are like, well, this isn't Marvel because or this is like Marvel because blah blah blah. Fine, they're superhero movies. They're bound to have some comparisons, but they're also going to have a lot of differences.
Yeah.
So I think changing I'm very passionate about the DC, as you can tell, and I think their plan right now is not the best.
Not good, yeah. I agree.
I will
It's
have to
a
say
little
though, the superhero related saying that I'm looking forward to the most right now, whether TV shows, movies, is the Netflix series. So Jessica Jones, Daredevil. I'm looking forward to Iron Fist, even though Luke Cage might be I'm expecting him to be my least favorite character out of the 4. I'm still looking forward to Luke Cage. That's the superhero scene I'm looking forward to the most as well. Since it's I'll steer it back to Batman. Batman, the Killing Joke.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some early footage of that, which it looks great.
Yeah, I mean the trailer itself was not well edited.
I think,
it was like okay.
I mean,
I
so excited.
I think it did. I think it did its job, where it's kind of like here it is, but we don't want to show you
terrible.
much.
Like kept like raising.
Yeah.
It was because like, and I noticed
like a fan
because the
edit.
same scene happened to the Sultan Arkham trailer.
Mm-hmm. I think they just kind of scraped it together and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I think once the movie
But I'm
comes out,
really looking forward to that.
I'm just glad it's not the. I told you this. I think Gerald, Dan, that it's not It's not the New 52 kind of like anime looking animation we've seen lately. It's the
more
Bruce
classy.
Bruce Tim animation where it's a little bit more boxy, not as edgy, not as like angular. It's a little bit just more rounded.
It
around
reminds me of the
face.
Red Hood style that they use.
It kind of looks that, and as well as Assault on Arkham style a little bit.
They wanted a hybrid of the actual comic. They couldn't obviously lift the comic directly, but
because
there are definitely plenty of screenshots.
I actually saw a featurette like last night.
I saw that. Yeah,
And like I said, it's like the comic was way too realistic to make it animated.
mm-hmm.
So they had to kind of like experiment with the art style.
Which I think it's close. I think it's
I'm sure
That
it's fine.
perfect.
screenshot of Joker, and I think where he's wearing that Hawaiian kind of shirt.
in
Oh,
the
yeah.
shadow.
The shadow. It looks. When you compare that to the panel,
Yeah.
it looks like
It's
identical.
close.
It's
Let's just celebrate that Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill are going to go at it
back.
again of
Yep.
the two iconic.
Yeah,
art
that's all that.
licenses.
That's all that
Probably
mattered
for
to
the
me.
last time.
They could have made it stick figures as long as it was those voices. I would have been happy with.
No, yeah,
because
you're right. No, I would've
When I
stick
read
with
that
two figures.
book, those are the. I mean, I read any Batman and Joker book. Those are the voices I do.
voices.
I think it's
And
everyone.
Let me tell you,
pitches
the
those
impressions
voices.
in my mind are perfect. I do it very well in my mind. They sound
Dan
just
is
like
good
in
at
your mind,
impressions,
no?
I
Hear
will
them
tell
in
you.
the-
out loud. It's just like, yeah, this doesn't sound like him at all. So, but yeah, that's who I read it as. I'm not gonna really try him, but it's like you get it. And
I get
and so when they're reading the speech and it's like memories, so whatever, and I'm like, that's who I hear. I'm not hearing like Cesar Romero or like this made up voice. And I don't know why I went all the way back to Cesar Romero, but
I was like, no one uses him as a voice.
yeah. Ooh, I got a mustache. I couldn't even tell you what he sounded like. It's been so long since I've watched that. I kind of stay away from it, although I kind of keep finding it in stores like season 1, and I'm like, if it drops to like $10 or less, I'll probably pick it up
Just for your collection?
At Barnes &
just to
Noble.
have it. Yeah, just
just
to, as a
have it.
Batman fan.
What the animate with the 60s, it's I appreciate it. I respect. Okay, this is where Batman was during the 60s, even the comics.
In
He
the comics, that's how he was. Yeah.
During the 60s, for those who don't know, were goofy as shit.
Mhm.
Like there's one where Batman plays baseball. Wonder Woman goes bowling. There was one where Batman had like a zebra striped. It was fucking weird.
Well,
So the show just reflected that. That's what the kids were into.
yeah,
and
yeah,
then-
yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just 62; it was also the 50s.
Yeah,
and that's
50s.
probably because
Drugs, man.
that was just like,
Psychedelics.
and it was like it was censored. Like all comic books during that era, like 60s,
The
50s, and
comics
60s
code,
were
yeah, I
like
think.
were censored, and they couldn't really do much.
Well, yeah, exactly. So that's whatever. It is what it is with
Stupid censorship.
stuff. Anyway, Gerald's got to go get sweaty at Insanity,
Yep,
so we're gonna
catch you guys in the next episode.
ya.
we're gonna wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
Thanks for tuning in. If you did so, and if you stuck with us the whole 53 minutes, we appreciate it. We'll try and do these a little more frequently,
Like once a month.
months a
something
month
like that,
kind of a thing, instead of 6 months apart. Obviously, check us out every week. Every Sunday, we do our normal podcast, Geekcast the Podcast, where we talk about more things than just Batman, although a lot of times Batman comes up. And, like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. We try to keep posted and updates, and we have our short film coming and things like that. So keep us in your hearts and in your minds, and thanks for listening.